Alright guys, welcome to another video. Today's talking very briefly about my first ever experience raiding Blackwing Lair, which basically happened last night on stream. If you want to catch my streams, you'll find that in the description of this video. I will be streaming a lot more Blackwing Lair very soon. So because Blackwing Lair had a little bit of an awkward release day, because it didn't really release on the EU servers at the kind of perfect content release day, which is normally a Wednesday, which means most people are kind of free on a Wednesday and most people are ready to raid on a Wednesday, which meant we basically were just not ready to raid when the raid actually came out, so we spent a little bit extra time doing preparation and stuff like that, and we raided it yesterday on Monday of the 17th of February. This meant that not everybody could actually turn up to the raid, so we actually only had 32 people, but nonetheless, considering we only had 32 people, it was a fairly smooth run, and I'd consider it a very good progression run. I enjoyed it quite a lot. The first boss, we got it down on our third attempt. The second boss, which is obviously Veilstraz. A lot of people say Veilstraz is like one of the most difficult bosses in the raid, and it's an absolute guild killer and all this kind of thing, and we actually downed it the second time. We just kind of manned up and powered through it, and we were totally fine on the second attempt. We nearly killed it the first attempt. We got him down to about, I think, under 10% on the first attempt, so second time we absolutely nailed it. And then I'm pretty sure we killed the third boss the first time, although I'll have to probably, look at my stream again, but I'm pretty sure we killed it either the first or second time. So we're making a lot of progress very quickly and very, very well, basically. We did get a little bit stuck on Flame Lash, or is it Firemaw? Pretty sure it's Firemaw or Flame Lash. Firemaw. We got a little bit stuck on Firemaw. I think we've wiped a few times on Firemaw. I've given the our guild leader and our tank a little tip to stack a little bit more fire resistance. He has 311 fire resistance, and basically someone in my stream jumped in and mentioned that 315 fire resistance is the cap, and that tanks can actually solo tank basically that boss with 315 fire resistance. So I've given him that tip, and I'm actually not able to raid on the Wednesday, our next raid night, so it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I've got commitments. Nonetheless, I do think we're going to power through it on Wednesday, and without me there, obviously, but we had a lot less people than we normally do. We normally have at least like 38 people, going on to 40 people, and I think we will get Blackwing Lair done very quickly. And overall, I'm enjoying it quite a lot. I enjoy the increased difficulty. Blackwing Lair does kind of feel more like a raid environment than Molten Core. Molten Core feels like a bit bland and a bit boring, to be honest. It just kind of feels like you're doing a big dungeon, because the scenery of Molten Core isn't very interesting. You can definitely tell that it was developed in a short space of time, whereas Blackwing Lair, it feels, it's proper. It feels like you're going into the mines of Moria and killing some dragons. A lot of people have been asking why I'm not in some world first min-maxing guild who are trying to essentially kill Nefarian on the first week that it's been released, and there's a number of reasons for that. First of all, imagine I find it I kind of feel sorry for the people who min-max, to be honest, because imagine waiting 4 months after you've leveled your character to 60, you downed Molten Core in the first 2 weeks, and then you have to wait another 4 months for some fresh raid content, and then when that raid content is released, you just zerg through it and rush through it in the first 2 weeks again, and then you have to wait another 4 months for some new, fresh raid content. And I personally just think, I kind of feel sorry for the people who do that, because in my opinion, you're hastening the enjoyment that you can get from the game. You're rushing through it, and you're not. People like that are just, they're just kind of rushing through the game, and they're not kind of taking their time to enjoy the game properly as it really is intended. I think people with that mindset are going to get insanely burnt out on the game way too quickly, and I personally don't see the point in farming gold and consumables for 4 hours, or for the whole week in fact, to get a raid done in under 2 hours or 1 hour or half an hour, when you can just spend 2 hours on the raid without your consumables and without speedrunning. I don't see why people do it, to be honest, because it just kind of seems a bit pointless. I think it's faster for you to not farm the consumables and all the money and all the crazy things before you raid, rather than spending all the time doing that kind of thing. I mean, obviously some people, they are going for the like records and stuff like that, and I understand the kind of speedrunning element of the raid, but if you're not going hardcore speedrunning and trying to like go for PBs and records and stuff like that, then I don't really see the point of it. I'd rather stay and play in a more kind of hardcore, in a semi-hardcore raiding guild rather than a full-on hardcore raiding guild, because I feel like if you play this game, especially classic WoW, too hardcore, it becomes, you're just going to get burnt out so quickly. I think if I was playing on retail, I would actually quite like to play in a hardcore on retail, because once you've cleared normal, you can go into heroic, and then once you've cleared heroic, you can move on to mythic, which is extremely difficult compared to raiding during vanilla. And I think it takes longer for you to get burnt out on the content in retail, because there's, you know, different tiers of difficulty. But with classic WoW, I prefer to just kind of take my time with it, absorb myself in the aesthetic of going into a raid environment, the story of the raid, interacting with all the different bosses and learning about the bosses, and just getting a real feeling of going into, you know, the Mines of Moria like Lord of the Rings, and trying to kill an evil dragon who wants to take over Blackrock Mountain and take over the world and all this kind of thing, and just properly absorb myself, yeah, in the story and, you know, in the immersive features of the game, rather than just burning through it like it's some kind of, I don't know, Call of Duty campaign or something. Some people are coming into my stream and kind of complaining about how I'm not min-maxing everything on my character, and at the end of the day, I care way more about interacting with my stream and talking to my community and just having a laugh and having a good time with the people who want to watch my streams. That to me is paramount and way more important than me min-maxing and perfecting my gameplay. Okay, if you want to watch the most professional gameplay in the world, then, you know, I wouldn't come to my stream. If you want to come and have some banter, you want to have kind of like a laugh with some friends in the chat and with me obviously on the stream, then my stream is better suited for that kind of mindset and environment. At the end of the day, as long as I'm in the top 10 DPS, I'm happy. Or sometimes, fair enough, I do push myself to like the top 5 if I really want to, but like as long as I'm in the top 10, I see myself as, you know, contributing to the raid in an effective manner, and I don't really see the need to like really push myself any further than that. At the end of the day, I am much more of a casual video game player or gamer, whatever you want to call it these days. I only really view video games as a way to kind of enjoy yourself and chill out at the end of the day, and maybe have some interactions online with other people in a social aspect. But apart from that, like, I really just think that video games is just a way for me to chill out at the end of the day, rather than it being some kind of extension to my goals and aspirations and ambitions. I don't really see video games as something ambitious in a way. Obviously my YouTube channel is something I'm very ambitious about, but I'm not very ambitious about playing video games. Really, video games for me is just a way to chill out at the end of the day. So if you're coming into my streams, don't expect extremely professional minimac gameplay. It's going to be a very chilled, relaxed, talkative and friendly, fun, and sounds kind of childish right now, but it's just, I mean, I like to imagine my streams as like a few guys sitting around a quiet pub having a laugh or having a catch up or something like that. You know, some friends who haven't seen each other for a while just meeting up and having a bit of a catch up, having a laugh, talking about, reminiscing and moaning about, well, probably video games, moaning about the wives, moaning about anything really, you know. Just a kind of, imagine like the kind of interaction you have between you and your barber. That's the kind of conversation and the interaction that I want to kind of create between the people who view my streams and me, I'm the streamer. So imagine you're talking to your barber when you talk to me on stream. But anyway, this video has turned into like me talking about my stream a little bit, but overall I've just kind of like summarised my kind of mindset on video games and, well, the way I want to play Classic WoW, my plans for Classic WoW, and how my total mindset on how I approach playing this MMO, because at the end of the day I don't want to get burnt out on it too quickly, like I feel like I did when it first, like the game first came out and we were, you know, killing Molten Core and all that kind of thing. I do feel like I massively got burnt out, and I was definitely just raid logging, to be honest. And now I'm way more interested in playing the game a little bit more. I do only still play the game quite casually because I'm actually playing other games as well. But anyway, I'm going to stop gibbering on. Thanks for listening to this kind of podcasty kind of video on your second monitor. My name is Metagoblin. Until my next video, ciao.